Hi everyone. Well, to no one's surprise, Billy said something stupid again. Let's have a look.
What would you say to Stephen Hawking's assertion that because there's a law like gravity, the universe can and will create itself out of nothing?
Okay, that's a pop science way of phrasing it. Any objections should actually be directed against the technical formulation of it, not this one. But regardless, it's important to understand that what he means by nothing isn't a state of nothingness. That would be a contradiction in and of itself, because if there is a state there, then, I mean, there's something that you can slap the label nothing onto, right? So it's not nothing. If there is a state, then there is something there. There is a state. What he means is that there was no prior state from which the universe arose. A better phrasing would be, because there's such a thing as the law of gravity, a universe will arise without an external cause.
Well, I think that that's just a philosophical mistake.
Well, there's your first problem, Billy. This is physics, not philosophy.
It assumes, first of all, that there would be the law of gravity if absolute nothing existed.
The law of gravity is not a thing. It's a description of the behavior of nature, just like the uncertainty principle. And the uncertainty principle says that you can't have, with certainty, zero energy and zero time. Nature does not decide on values with that sort of precision. There's always going to be a margin of error, and that means that there's always going to be an energy axis and a time axis. The law of gravity, general relativity, or well, Einstein's field equations, I should probably say, from general relativity, what they tell us is that when you have energy, you have space and time. Space, time, and energy are inseparable. So it follows from the uncertainty principle that if there is such a thing as the law of gravity, which there is, then there is space, time, and energy. There is a universe. Removing space, time, and energy does not remove these laws, because the laws are not physical things that can be removed. They are descriptions of how nature behaves. And nature will be there even if the universe isn't.
But then beyond that, the model that he offers, in fact, doesn't offer any explanation for why the universe comes into being.
What do you mean by why? Do you mean how do we explain? Or due to what cause? Or what do you mean? There should be no cause. That's the whole point. No external cause anyway. And if you mean how do we explain this, then well, I just told you. Granted, I didn't give you the technical version of it, but well, you wouldn't understand that anyway. What do you mean by why? Do you mean for what purpose? Because that's the only why that's left as far as I can tell. And I don't even know why you asked that question. Well, actually I do. You want to sneak God in there, but there is no God. Get over it.
He just offers an account of the universe whereby the beginning of the universe doesn't involve an initial singularity. That is a point at which all the laws of nature break down.
Frank, you can stop nodding along as if you're pretending to understand any of this. We all know you don't.
On his model, the laws of nature apply all the way back to the first moment of time, the beginning of the universe, but it doesn't provide any sort of explanation as to why that came into being.
Oh, so you acknowledge that it explains it. Well, then why really does refer to a purpose, doesn't it? For what purpose did the universe begin? That is what you mean, isn't it? That's a pretty damn loaded question, because it assumes that there is a purpose, and things happen for no purpose all the time. Why assert that the universe must have one? If not, because you're trying to set up a circular reasoning here where you need God in order to prove that God existed so that he could create the universe and blah, blah, blah. Give up.
And that's only logical if you think about it, Frank. There is no physics of non-being.
Actually, there is. Quantum mechanics is pretty clear on this. It says that non-being cannot be. If it were to be, it would immediately decay into a quantum vacuum, which is not nothing. It's not non-being. Your objection seems to be that if nature were in a state of total emptiness, that sort of nothing, take away space, take away time, take away energy, then nature would not exhibit any behavior that could be described by laws. There's nothing there to behave. Well, actually there is. Nature itself is still there.
And therefore, there cannot be any explanation physically for the appearance of that material world.
And no one is claiming that there is, because no one is claiming that the material world, nature, appeared. The universe did. Maybe I should explain this. I think we're starting at the wrong place. I'm assuming that you have at least some knowledge of the topics you're talking about, and you clearly don't. So let me explain this. In cosmology, in astrophysics, the universe and nature, or the material world if you want to use that term, those are not synonyms. Billy, before you try to correct one of history's greatest physicists about something, you might want to open a relevant textbook. See ya, Billy.